There is a metal that exists inside your smartphone, your laptop, your solar panels, your electric vehicle, your medical devices, and the satellites orbiting above your head right now. It is the best electrical conductor on Earth. Nothing comes close. And because of that, in thousands of critical applications, there is simply no substitute. The world consumed more of this metal last year than it produced. For the sixth consecutive year in a row, the global deficit is widening. Warehouses are being drained. China, which refines 60 to 70% of the world's supply, just restricted its exports. And the United States government just designated it a critical mineral, the same category as lithium and rare earth elements essential to national security. The metal is silver, and the story of what is happening to silver right now is one of the most important and least understood investment stories of 2026. In the next 14 minutes, Signal Markets will show you exactly why the world is running out of silver, why that matters to every person on Earth, and at the end, the specific signal that tells you when this story reaches its turning point. Stay to the end. Before we go further, nothing in this video is financial advice. Signal Markets is an educational channel. We analyze publicly available data and research to help you understand how markets work. Always do your own research and speak to a qualified advisor before making any investment decisions. This is part 1 of Signal Markets' 3-part silver series. Part 2 covers the manipulation of silver prices by major financial institutions. Part 3 covers the investment thesis and what the data implies about where prices go from here. Let's start with the most important question. What actually is silver and why is it irreplaceable? Gold gets the headlines. Gold gets the safe haven narrative. Gold is what central banks hold and what investors buy when they are afraid. But silver does something gold almost never does. It works. Silver has the highest electrical conductivity of any element on the periodic table, higher than copper, higher than gold, higher than every other metal known to science. Its thermal conductivity is equally unmatched, and it has natural antibacterial and antifungal properties that make it essential in medical applications. These are not incremental advantages. They are the reasons why, in thousands of critical industrial applications, silver cannot simply be replaced by a cheaper alternative. Engineers have tried. The physics does not cooperate. Solar panels. Every solar panel produced today contains silver. The silver is used as a conductive paste that collects and transmits the electrical current generated by sunlight. Each panel contains approximately 20 grams of silver. The solar industry currently consumes roughly 15% of total annual silver supply, and that share has nearly tripled in a decade. In 2014, solar represented 11% of silver's industrial demand. By 2024, it was 29%. The world is building solar capacity at an extraordinary pace. China installed more solar panels in the first half of 2025 than the rest of the world combined. Every panel needs silver. Electric vehicles. The average electric vehicle contains significantly more silver than a conventional internal combustion engine car. Silver is used in EV batteries, charging systems, electrical contacts, and the power electronics that manage energy flow. Electric vehicles are expected to overtake internal combustion engine vehicles as the primary source of automotive silver demand by 2027. Electronics. Every smartphone contains silver. Every laptop contains silver. Every 5G antenna. Every data center server, every precision switch, and electrical contact in every electronic device you own contains silver. AI and data centers. As artificial intelligence adoption accelerates globally, the data centers that power AI workloads require enormous amounts of electrical infrastructure. Silver is used in high-efficiency electrical components, precision contacts, and thermal management systems. The semiconductor sector alone is projected to consume approximately 23 million ounces of silver by 2030. Medical applications. Silver's antibacterial properties make it essential in wound dressings, medical implants, surgical instruments, and hospital surfaces. Silver-coated medical devices reduce infection rates in ways that no other material matches. Military and defense. Silver is used in missiles, radar systems, navigation equipment, and electronic warfare systems. The United States military is one of the largest consumers of silver globally. Here is the fundamental problem that drives everything else in this story. Silver is extraordinarily difficult to significantly increase production of, and the reason is structural, not temporary. Approximately 70 to 72% of all silver mined globally comes as a byproduct. It is not the primary target of mining operations. It emerges from copper mines, zinc mines, lead mines, and gold mines as a secondary product. When copper demand is strong, more copper gets mined, and silver output rises as a byproduct. When copper demand weakens, silver output falls, regardless of what the silver price is doing. This is the critical structural constraint that most analysis misses. You cannot simply build more silver mines to increase supply. Most silver does not come from silver mines. It comes from decisions made about copper, zinc, and lead, made by mining companies whose primary concern is those metals, not silver. The Silver Institute reports that global silver mine production peaked in 2016 at approximately 900 million ounces and has been declining since. In 2025, global mine production was estimated at 835 million ounces, a 7% decline from peak despite silver prices rising dramatically. New mining projects face permitting timelines averaging 7 to 10 years. Ore grades at existing mines have declined approximately 30% over the past decade. Mine production is expected to increase by just 1% in 2026, against a widening deficit that is essentially meaningless. Here are the deficit numbers, and they are extraordinary. Total silver demand reached 1.16 billion ounces in 2024. The Silver Institute reported deficits of approximately 176 to 200 million ounces in 2023 and 2024. The annual deficit has ranged from 100 to 230 million ounces in recent years depending on methodology and whether investment demand is included. Every credible forecast points to the deficit continuing or widening in 2026. The cumulative deficit from 2021 through 2025 is estimated at approximately 820 million ounces, drawn from finite above-ground reserves that are running low. On January 1, 2026, China implemented a sweeping new licensing regime for silver exports. Only 44 Chinese companies now qualify to export silver. China handles 60 to 70% of global silver refining, so restricting Chinese exports affects 60 to 70% of global refined silver supply, not Chinese supply. Global supply. The stated rationale: Beijing wants to ensure China's own rapidly growing domestic industries, solar panels, electric vehicles, consumer electronics, have priority access to silver before it is exported. China has effectively elevated silver from a widely traded industrial metal to a strategic resource, placing it under the same export control architecture it uses for rare earth elements. In November 2025, the U.S. Geological Survey included silver on its updated list of critical minerals. Critical mineral designation places a commodity on the national security radar. It triggers government attention to supply chain vulnerabilities. It opens the door to federal support for domestic production, stockpiling, and allied supply agreements. The combination of U.S. critical mineral designation and China's export restrictions creates a geopolitical tension over silver supply that has no near-term resolution. Two of the world's largest economies are simultaneously moving to secure silver supply chains. Here is a comparison that puts silver's supply situation in perspective. All the gold ever mined throughout human history amounts to approximately 200,000 tons of above-ground gold stock. The total above-ground silver stock available for investment and industrial use is estimated at approximately 1.5 billion ounces, roughly 46,000 tons, significantly less than gold, and silver is consumed industrially in ways gold almost never is. When silver is used in a solar panel or in electrical contact, it is often not economically recoverable. It is consumed and gone. The gold-to-silver ratio has averaged approximately 60 to 1 since 1971. In April 2025, that ratio reached 105 to 1, meaning silver was historically cheap relative to gold. Following silver's extraordinary 150% rally through 2025, the ratio compressed to approximately 50 to 1 by early 2026. J.P. Morgan projects silver could average $81 per ounce in 2026. Inflation-adjusted price targets range from $150 to $250 per ounce depending on methodology. In late January 2026, silver briefly spiked to approximately $117 per ounce before being pushed back sharply, a move we will examine in detail in part 2 of this series. The obvious question at this point is, if silver is so scarce and so expensive, why don't manufacturers just use something else? The short answer is, they are trying, and mostly failing. Chinese solar manufacturers including Longi Green Energy, Jinko Solar, and Shanghai Eiko Solar have announced plans to replace silver with copper in certain solar cell designs. Mass production using copper-based alternatives was expected in the second quarter of 2026. But substitution is technically brutal. Copper can increase assembly costs and raises reliability concerns. Silver's electrical conductivity advantage is not marginal. It is the best conductor of any element. For high-efficiency solar designs using TOPCon and SHJ cell technology, which are actually more silver-intensive, not less, copper substitution is not currently viable. These advanced cell designs use 1.5 to 2 times more silver per gigawatt than older designs. The result, solar silver demand is projected to fall slightly in 2026 as manufacturers reduce silver intensity per panel. But global solar capacity is expanding by approximately 15%. You can use less silver per panel and still need dramatically more total silver if you are building far more panels. What the substitution efforts tell you is that manufacturers are acutely aware of the supply problem and are working hard to reduce their silver dependency. The fact that they are struggling tells you how structurally important silver's physical properties are. At the start of this video, I promised you the signal that tells you when this story reaches its turning point. Here it is. Watch 2 numbers simultaneously. Number 1, COMEX registered silver inventory. This is the silver physically sitting in COMEX-approved vaults and available for delivery against futures contracts. It is publicly reported daily. You can track it at samigroup.com. COMEX registered silver inventory has declined by over 70% since 2020. During the first week of January 2026 alone, 33.45 million ounces were withdrawn from COMEX warehouses in 7 days, representing 26% of registered inventory vanishing in a single week. When this number falls below 100 million ounces and keeps falling, physical supply stress is becoming critical. Number 2, the silver lease rate. This is the rate at which holders of physical silver lend it to borrowers, typically industrial users who need immediate supply. In a well-supplied market, lease rates are near zero. In a tight market, they spike. Silver lease rates hit 39% in October 2025, an extraordinary reading that signals severe physical scarcity. When lease rates spike above 10% again, physical tightness is intensifying. These 2 numbers, COMEX registered inventory and silver lease rates, tell you the real state of the physical silver market, independent of what the paper price says on any given day. Watch them. They are the signal. To summarize part 1 of Signal Market's Silver Series, silver is the world's best electrical conductor and an irreplaceable component in solar panels, electric vehicles, electronics, AI infrastructure, and medical devices. Demand is growing across all these sectors simultaneously. Supply cannot keep up. 70% of silver comes as a byproduct of other metals, meaning the silver price alone cannot trigger a supply response. Mine production peaked in 2016 and has been declining since. The global silver market has been in structural deficit for 6 consecutive years. The cumulative shortfall from 2021 to 2025 is estimated at 820 million ounces, drawn from finite above-ground reserves. China's export restrictions from January 2026 have affected 60 to 70% of global refined silver supply, elevating silver to the same strategic status as rare earth elements. The U.S. critical mineral designation signals that Washington views silver supply security as a national security issue. The signals to watch: COMEX registered silver inventory at COMEX.com and silver lease rates. Both tell you the real state of physical supply, independent of paper prices. Part 2 of Signal Market's Silver Series examines how the paper silver market, futures contracts, and derivatives has been used to suppress the price of physical silver. The confirmed $920 million fine against J.P. Morgan for doing exactly that. and what is happening in silver markets right now that has analysts using the phrase once in a generation. Subscribe to Signal Markets so you don't miss part 2. Find the signal, ignore the noise. Link to our recommended platform is in the description below. As always, do your own research, and nothing in this video is financial advice. This is Signal Markets. Find the signal, ignore the noise. See you next week.